So this session is for Pega RPA session, and in this session we'll discuss about um, Windows adapter and Windows application, interrogation, and the process. So as we have discussed about the web application yesterday, so in the Pega RPA trainings project solution. So here we have discussed about the login and the product search, and also in this session we'll discuss about the Windows application interrogation part and how to configure the Windows application and what are the properties we need to configure and what is the main key role match rules and the key role properties we have to configure. So we have for in this Pega RPA training, we have um, CRM application, which is already inbuilt application for the training purpose. So it is already been there in our laptops. So we have this application is been installed in the Pega, program files. So we'll configure that step by step. And before configuring, like we have to install that application that will be available in the program files x86. So let me share the screen. So might be you will get this error also most of the times. So I'm trying to install this CRM setup. It will be having in a program files x86. Under x86, like will be having a Pega systems. In this, if you are a user on in the development, so you will be having these folders: Pega Robot Studio, Pega RPA Services, Pega Native Foundation, and Pega Browser Extension. So in this, where can we find this CRM setup is in the Pega Robotic Studio. So here you will be having in the extras folder. So in this extras folder, you will have this CRM setup file. So here you have to install this. Click open. So might be you will get this same error while installing this CRM setup. .NET Framework version. It requires a 2.0.5.50727 version. So I'm installing that. been started, not started yet. So let us wait for 30 seconds. So it's installed. I mean, it's downloaded. Let me install this. Run as administrator.
Installing again, yeah, robot.
No, actually, this is installing a .NET. Why? Because this CRM setup is requires .NET.
Okay,
So
okay,
in my machine, it is not there. Might be you will be having this .NET version. Otherwise, like if not, like it will be asking for you as well. So you have to install this.
okay, okay, okay,
So before installing this setup and before to use this CRM setup, we need a .NET.
okay.
Yeah. So let me try to install this. Still asking. It is expecting something new. The setup requires the .NET framework 2.2.506.
సర్టిఫికేషన్ మ్యాండేటరీగా చేయాలండి?
నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్, అవసరం లేదు సర్టిఫికేషన్.
ఓకే.
మనకి అదే బెనిఫిట్ యాక్చువల్లీ పెగా రోబోటిక్స్ కి.
ఓకే.
సో
ఓకే.
పెగాకి అయితే సర్టిఫికేషన్ మ్యాండేటరీ, బట్ పెగా రోబోటిక్స్ కి నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్.
ఓకే.
మీ మిషన్ లో ట్రై చేయండి ఇది, సేమ్ లొకేషన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఫైల్స్ x86.
ఓకే. ఎక్కడ ఎక్కడ ఫైండ్ చేయాలి సిఆర్ఎం?
సి డ్రైవ్,
ఓకే.
సి
సి
డ్రైవ్
డ్రైవ్.
ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఫైల్స్ x86,
ఓకే. x86. ఓకే.
పెగా సిస్టమ్స్, ఫోల్డర్
సిస్టమ్స్.
పెగా సిస్టమ్స్,
యా. పెగా రోబోటిక్ స్టూడియో.
పెగా రోబోట్ స్టూడియో,
ఓకే.
ఎక్స్ట్రాస్,
సిఆర్ఎం ఎక్స్ట్రాస్. ఓకే. సిఆర్ఎం.
పిఆర్ఎల్ సెటప్. డబుల్ క్లిక్.
Everyone just for me. Just me or everyone? You have to put. Okay.
No, just check, Praveen. Anyone can check.
Okay. Next.
Just check whether you are able to launch this CRM setup or not.
Yeah. Installing. Yes.
Okay. Is it open?
Yeah. CRM setup has been successfully installed. Click to close exist. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Please
Then
use
that
Windows
is fine for you. So it is
Yeah.
working for you. No problem.
Yeah.
So I was having an issue with I'm having an issue with this CRM setup. So today we'll
Okay.
discuss about this web application only, web application extension. So I
Okay.
will work on this CRM setup because it is not working for me because of this .NET related issue. So we'll
Sure.
discuss about this web application itself, web
Okay.
application, and we'll try to work on this uh, Outlook. We'll start working on this connectors today. So So as per the plan, like interrogation we have did for web, but Windows is pending. So match rules for web is done. So debugging also is done. So debugging is not yet done. I will show like today the debugging process, like how to do debugging and what's the process of debugging. So
Okay.
diagnostic tools we'll discuss. Toolbox items. So already we have started using these toolbox items, and also few
Mm.
of the toolbox items we have like scripting. So string utils we have, date time utils we have, variables we have, like
Mm.
integer, string, double variables. So we have few more like wait any, wait all, and also like file utilities. Like let's say this system.io file utilities we have, right? Like copying the files from one folder to another folder, moving the files, and creating a folders like directories, and creating a file. So all those things like we have in this. So all those toolbox items we have. So we'll use one by one, accordingly, like the examples we did. And the scripting, C sharp scripting we'll use DB connectors, which is SQL query connectors. Those are the components we have in our toolbox. So, and today we'll discuss about this Excel and Word and Outlook. So Outlook connector we have. So by within this solution itself, we'll use Outlook. And yesterday we have discussed one of the component, which is a message dialog box. It used mostly in the RDA processes. Why? Because if the process is running in the middle of the process, if we get this I mean this message box, message pop up, so the process will stuck there till we click on any till we take the action, click on OK or cancel. Till that time, it will be idle there, and then only like it will proceed. So if it is a RPA process, there is no reason we use this message dialog, because it will be having an issue for our with our process. If we use this message dialog, it will be using only in RDA process. And now we have used for testing purpose, like for the training purpose we have used to use this component, one of the component from the toolbox. And the same way, we have a message manifest also. So this message manifest. So difference between this message manifest and message dialog is, so message dialog box is only using for displaying a message. Let's say, um, let's say we have only the message to display, and we can use the message dialog. But coming to message manifest, what is the use of this message manifest is, so message manifest, we can use this any generic messages. Let's say you have login failed message, and you have in there are a few of the applications are involved. Let's say in your process you have five applications has been involved. So those five applications will have one generic message which is called a login failed, right? So in that scenario, you don't have to manually add your error message for each and every application. So you can add this message in this message manifest, and that message you can use as a code. So how that error message you can add is, so you have to right click on the project, and click on the properties. So here, so here in the deployment, message definitions, you can see this message definitions, right? So here you have to click on these three dots. So here you can add your message. So let's say it's a RPA process 0001, and the caption you can maintain anything. and the error message which you wanted to add. Let's say login failed. So, and the error a code you have added and the error message you have added. So if you just click OK, and the error message and with the code has been saved, and that error message you can use it in your automations. Let's say you are click on this, open, and so here instead of using this, let us use this show message. So you can see as a parameter you have to pass the string code. If you pass this string code, you will get a result. So this, so get message, see. So if you pass the code here, RPA hyphen 001. So based on this code, you will get the message here. Okay. So this generic message you can display. You can display to the users. Like if you want to fetch few data from that particular generic data from the application. I mean, for each and every application, you can fetch it from the project properties. So you can use this message manifest throughout all the projects. I mean, throughout all the applications within the project, not within the solution, within the project, because it is dedicatedly updated in the main project. So that main project can't use in the sub projects that main project properties. So you have to use dedicatedly this manifest messages in within the project itself. So there could be like there will be a question in the interviews like what is the difference between message dialog and message manifest. So message dialog is only to display error messages or any informative messages to the user. But coming to message definition, you can display the error messages or informative messages or any warning messages to the users. Including that, you can get a generic messages from the project properties. You can get a you can display messages to the user, and also you can fetch the messages from the back end of the project properties. Generic messages. I mean, it reduces your effort to update each and every uh, error message. Instead of updating each and every message, so you can directly go to project properties, and here you can just update a one error one I mean, if you wanted to update anything, any error, any message, just you update here. So no need to update each and every project and each and every place, because the code is same. So if the code changes, then the message will change. I mean, then again you have to go there and you have to change the code. So if the code is similar and the error message is different, so no need to change anything. Just maintain as it is and just change the properties here in the message definition. So just to fetch the data and also to display error messages or informative messages to the user. And here you can see for the properties of message dialog, you can see it here. So the caption, so it's the information and the icon. So if there is any error message you wanted to display, you can change based on this error. If you are selecting error, it will display you like error symbol will get right in the red mark. So that error icon will get. So questioning, question mark will get, exclamation mark will get, and information. So this type of error messages, error types we have. So the similar way also for this message manifest will have. So you can do the same way. So now we'll use this web application properties. So we'll use Outlook and Excel here to move, I mean, to update and to send an email. So there is a requirement which we are going to do now. As we discussed yesterday about this web application, we are going to um, let me launch this application. Application. So here we are going to beverages and the chai and the view details. We are clicking and we are fetching the data, right? So what we'll do, just a single process will do. We'll capture the data, whatever the data we have. So we'll capture it and we'll add that data in the email and we'll send it to user. Like that thing we can do, and also the same way we can update in our Excel also. Let's say if you wanted to update the whole thing, so we'll take this message itself and create control. So you can see here, unable to uniquely identify the control our T is made from. So this message, it is saying that like it is unable to identify this particular control. So clear this error and we'll go here and we'll try to identify uniquely, because we have to identify it. Otherwise, like it will not work while testing. So here, so there might be a chances this message will be a not static. It's a dynamic. Like every time it will change. So for chai, it is different, and some other thing like it is different. So for all the things, like it will be different. So in that scenario, I will go with the dynamic match rules kind of. So we have to check what kind of match rule we can able to set. So here you have to verify. So inner HTML and inner text will be a same, like it's a static data we'll have. But apart from that, like we have to check other things. Can we will get some other error messages, like I mean informative match rules. So you can check, you have to validate, and then you have to select that particular match rule. So node name. So let's see. Yeah, still we have to. So if it is not working with that, just delete it. You don't need to keep it here. So mostly we'll use inner text and inner HTML, and we'll go with the ID based. We'll go with the class, and also at the same time we'll go with this outer HTML and outer text. So you can see the outer HTML and outer text. So if it is not working for some of the elements, like we have to think out of the box. Let's say will have on location based, like the size and location. So based on that also we have to think, and also the width we have to think, and also the based on the index we have to think. So all those scenarios we have to cross check, and we have to check whether it is going to work for us or not. So let's say text node. So no, still not matching. So go ahead with other one. Check with tab index. No, check with this base URI. Check with cell index. No. So you can see based on the location also 721 and 233. So you can use that also for your to identify this particular element. So here we have to check where can we find this 721 and 233 on the location. See here you have open span left and open span right is different. So Pega top. Let's try to see. This is how you can identify uniquely without this inner text and outer text, outer HTML and inner HTML. This is the most common match rules we're going to use. But if it is not working for us, like we'll think about it, like we'll think of out of this box, and we have to check whether it is going to be identified or not. So this bit confused, this will get bit confused, but we have to look for that each and every element. So we have identified this particular element, and now we'll try to display this error message, and we'll try to debug step by step. Um, so we'll get this. For getting the data from that particular control, we have to use text property, and also if the text property is not visible, just take an inner text. And inner text is both are same most of the times. So we have to change this names. So this is the form product details. Now page product details. It's a product details page. And this is the product detail. Actually, this will show like TD. TD in the sense the tag name is TD. TD in the sense like in the table, it's one of the column. So one of the row it needs to be identified the same way. So this is not any text txt, or this is not any some other combo box or button. So this is a TD, right? The tag we have. So we have to maintain as it is. So just for our I mean future, like someone if need to be identified what it is, what the tag it is. So such in that scenarios, like you have to maintain the same tag. So TD and the product details. Okay. Such way you can identify that particular element. So after clicking view details, it will navigate to this particular page. So here you are going to fetch the data and display it, right? So we'll wait for this page product details, wait for create, connect here, we'll park this exits, and now once it is activated, so we'll try to get the message and we'll display this. And now we'll debug. So for debug, as we discussed earlier about this debugging, so if you want to check what the message is passing, if you want to check what exactly is happening step by step by doing debugging, so you have to make sure that you have kept as a breakpoint. So here to do debug step by step process, if you wanted to go, you have to give a right click on the yellow line, or even in the blue line also you can give. So yellow line will call it as a process, and the blue line will call it as a data. So yellow line it's a process flow, and the blue line is a data flow. In the blue line, the data will flow. We can see the data, like data in the sense like what we are passing. In the yellow, it's just a flow. Just we can see step by step. So we have to click on the toggle breakpoint. So if we click on the toggle breakpoint, look, we'll get the breakpoint here, just similar to our coding like in the C sharp, like you have to click in the left side corner to get the breakpoint, right? The same way you will get the breakpoint if you give a right click and click on the toggle breakpoint, so that it will stops here, and from here we'll do debug. So let me run. So before that, like haven't stopped, so let me stop this interrogation mode and we'll wait. So here it stopped here because we kept the breakpoint. So to move further, we have a step into, step out, right? So in the debug, you have step into, step over, and step out. So these are the shortcut keys F11, F10, and Shift F11. So what it will do, step F11 will go each and every step, which is a blue line and yellow line, right? If we give a F11 step over, what it will do, if we press F10, it will directly jump from yellow line to yellow line. It will not go to blue line, but we can see the data Here it will skip the blue line flow, data line flow. It will skip. It will go to F11. I mean yellow line flow without moving into blue line. Directly it can jump. So shift F11, it will skip that step. If you wanted to, if you wanted to skip that particular step, you can skip it and you can move to the next step. So mostly we'll use F10 only, because we don't want to spend much time in the debugging. If you give a F11, it will go each and every line, blue line and yellow line. So now we'll go with the F10. So F10. So what it will do, it will come into our login automation, and here it will check whether the Acme is running or not. And if it is not running, so you can see the flow is going correctly, and it is going to start now. So the training application has been started, and it will wait for that particular control to be created. If it is already created, it will go to the next element, and here it will pass the username and password. So you can see it is passed, and now we'll go with the race event key up. So it is activated, and now it has to click on the perform click. So done. So login is done. Now it will go to the product search, and here it has been waited for this page and it is moved, and now it should select the product type and product type. It has been selected, and click on view details. Now you can see it has been moved to this particular product Chang, and it will wait this for this page to be created, product details. If it is already created, and it will take this message, and you can see the entire message has been displayed, including this quantity. So I have selected this as a error, right? So it is displaying as a error here. You can see if it is displaying as a informative icon, so it will display as a informative exclamation. It will display as exclamation. So the same way you can change whatever you need based on your requirement. And now we'll go with the Excel connector. Whatever we have fetched the data, right? So that will update. That will update in our Excel. So for that, we'll create a new automation, and we'll add one Excel connector. So in this Excel connector, we'll have two type of connectors for Excel itself. Because why we have two Excel connectors is by you the first we'll discuss about the difference between the Microsoft Excel and Excel connector. So the difference between these two is Excel connector is a old connector. Like whenever the Pega OpenSpan has been launched, from initially onwards, we have Microsoft Excel connector. The latest one is Excel connector. So this has been launched recently, in the sense like 2 3 years before. Why it has been launched and why we have two is the Excel connector is used by all the processes, and it will be used for to run macros in the sense, like we'll have a VBA scripting, right? So VBA scripting, so that we can run from our systems, from our Pega Robot Studio. But coming to Excel connector, we can't run those macros in our Excel connector because we don't have that particular method to be called. So the difference between these two is Microsoft Excel connector, to use this Excel connector, MS Office has to be installed. MS Office in the sense like Excel, MS Excel has to be installed to use this particular Microsoft Excel connector. But coming to Excel connector, we don't need any outsourcing application like MS Excel application to be installed. Without MS Excel, it will run. The application no need to be installed. And Coming to Microsoft Excel, we have around 100 plus methods and properties can be used. Coming to Excel connectors, we have around 200 plus methods, properties, and events that can be used. In Excel connector, will have to maintain our fonts, our coloring in the cells, and to get the color from the cells, setting the colors in the cells. Most, I mean, the sheet names from the Excel. So lot of things we can do, whatever like manually we can do in the Excel. So those things we can do in the Excel connector. Even you can set your Excel formula also into the particular Excel. So here we can't do formula kind of things, like we can paste, we can place that, and we can do coloring here in the cell values. So we can run macros, we can create a files, I mean Excel files, we can add the values in the Excel. Coming to Microsoft Excel and Excel connector is more faster than Microsoft Excel, because Microsoft Excel will take some time to open the Excel file and to read the data. But coming to Excel connector, it will not open the file, it will run in the backend itself. In the backend it will run, and it will backend itself, it will process. But coming to Microsoft Excel, it will open the file, it will display the front end, it will display the file in the front end, and it will do the process. If we do some mistakes, like let's say you have used a Microsoft Excel, and you are doing some actions, like if it is a RDA process, or else in the RPA process you are doing some testing, and if you have used this Microsoft Excel connector, and you are working on something, but if you are working on something, it will get failed while doing this Microsoft Excel actions, because the Excel has to be in the front end, because if it is doing something related to Excel operations. So if you are using Excel connector, especially this Excel connector, the latest one, you can do your work in the front end or back end, any kind of things. It will run, the Excel connector will do his work in the back end itself. It will not display, it will not open the Excel file. We even will not get notified also if it is running the Excel process. So here we'll use Excel connector, the latest one, to update the data. So save it and add a automation in the project, new automation, AUTX_P, update, just maintain update Excel. Okay, so we are just updating. So give a right click, entry point, and here, so manually, like I mean, basically what you will do while working with Excel. So from the manual side, human being, like what human will do, human will open the Excel. So he needs to check in which sheet, if it is a multiple sheets you are having in that particular Excel, you have to check that whether you have a which application is highlighted. So sheet 1, sheet 2, or sheet 3, and also like you can rename the sheet names, right? So you have to check which sheet you have to work on. You have to do some operations, Excel operations. So that you have to think, and then you have to work on that, like what data you have to paste and what data you have to take it from that particular uh, application, like if from which cell, which particular cell. Let's say, let me open Excel. So you are opening Excel, this is one step you are doing, and at the same time you are checking which sheet you have to work on. Let's say you have multiple sheets, right? So you have to work on sheet 2. So in sheet 2 you have to select, right? If by default it is in sheet 1, you have to check which sheet you have to work on. So sheet 2 you have clicked, this is the one step you did, and on which cell you have to paste the data, right? So let's say you have to paste in B column 7th row, you have to paste the data here. So this is one step you're going to do. Another step, like this is the third step you're going to do. And then after pasting here the data, and now if you close this application, what it will do, it will ask you to save, right? So let's say you have added some data and now you wanted to close this and it is asking for the data to save, right? So I will give some name, Pega training Excel. So I'll be saving this in one of my file location. So in C drive, I will save in C drive. So in C drive, I will create one folder which is called RPA. So here I'm going to save this file. So I have saved it. So the save you have to do. You have to save and then you have to close. But coming to here, I have directly closed it, right? You have seen this in the RPA folder. If you open this Excel, here you did some and action, and you have to save file, save, and now after saving you are closing. So this is the steps you have to perform in your automation. So first you have to go with this, and now here you have to pass your file name. So the file name which you wanted to open, which means you are trying to open the file name. So here you have to take the path. You have to take this path, paste it here. I think it didn't copy it. So copy. So I have pasted the path here. Now you have to check on which sheet you wanted to work on. Sheet name. Okay. So let me give sheet 1 or sheet 3. So already we have sheet 4 sheets in that particular Excel, right? So now check whether you have open. See, you have open, right? You have to open this. We have one method which is a open. Another method also I think we'll have open method. Search it. See, without parameter and with parameter. So here, what is the difference between these two open? So one is without parameter, so it will directly open and move further, even though if it is opened or not, it will go ahead. Coming to this method, what it will do, it will check whether the connector is opened or not. I mean, whether the application Excel is opened or not. Whatever the Excel file you are trying to open, it is opened or not. It will check. If it is opened only, then it will go with the true flow. Otherwise, it will go with the false flow. So you can use based on your convenience. So I will be using this. So open. So after passing file name and sheet name, it will open the uh, Excel. And now after opening this Excel, I wanted to update the data which we have in which we are trying to get the product details, right? So for that, I wanted to place the data in the Excel, right? So for that, we have set cell data, right? Set cell string value. So here we have two type of set cell string values. So that is a string value, right? That value we have to set here in the Excel. So we have two types. So one is based on cell. Like, let's say this is the Excel file. So in this Excel file, you have rows and columns, right? So in this rows and columns, you wanted to update in particular C column in the fourth row. So you have to maintain this. If you select here, you will get this cell address, right? This cell address has to be added here and the value. So coming to this, you have to check which row and which column. So let's say you have in the third column and fourth row. So you have to maintain here as 3 and 4 like that. So it's completely different. Here it's just a address and here row and column, it's an integer value you have to maintain. And the value, which value you have been taken from this here. So here actually we have taken the value, but we have to pass this data here, here in the Excel, right? So let us use this row and column. So I have opened and I wanted to update in the third row and in the fourth column. Okay, and now the value. I wanted to update the value, right? So the value is here in this automation, but how can we get this value into this automation? So there is a way. So we have to add our variable. So string variable. So you have the string variable, right? So that string variable, add it here and try to rename it. So as I said, for string, we have a prefix str and the particular string name, like the variable name, the details we have to maintain. So the name you have to check, set the product details. So we are getting the product details, right? Product. Okay. So I'm going to save it. And so what I will do, I will remove this message dialog. So here, so now what I have to do, so I however like I am getting this data, but I wanted to pass the data into the variable. So I'm going to drag and drop this variable and I wanted to store the data into this variable and just leave it. And now what it is here having here, so why we have to add this variable in the um, global container, because we have to use this particular variable, string variable, in the entire automation, in the entire project, right? So for that only, like we have added this str product details in the global container as part of um, globally usage in all the automation files. So here we have added and the data has stored. So the whatever the data we are getting, it has been stored it here in the variable and it is there in the variable, and that data we have to pass it here in the value. So just similar way, just drag and drop it. And for variables, you don't need to connect the yellow line. You can directly connect the blue line so that like it will pass the data. Like you don't have to connect. I mean, if you wanted to connect, you can connect it, but it is not necessary. It is not mandatory. But for this, like yeah, I have connected the yellow line, right? Because it's a mandatory which we have to connect. But properties, we don't need to connect it. So save it. And now after setting the value, you have to save the file, right? So now go to the methods and search for save. So you have two type of save. The same way, similar to open, will be having without parameter also, right? So here we have with parameter and without parameter. So we'll use without parameter. The same difference for with parameter and without parameter, whatever I have explained for open, the same way. So I will use this without parameter, save, and then after saving, we have to close it. Otherwise, it will keep on open in the backend. It will be in open. So have to take close method. So after closing, it is done. So now we'll add this exit. Okay. Now we'll add this automation here in our main flow. So the automation is update Excel, execute, right? So now we'll debug the process. Okay, we'll close it.
Hello.
Yes, Praveen.
Again, you start the mapping means again it replacing or you can paste this another folder.
Mapping in the sense like where in this
Excel
update Excel.
మనం
Yeah,
ఎక్సెల్ లో
if we
ఆల్రెడీ డేటా
wanted to,
వేసుకుంటాం.
if you wanted to update dynamically, let's
ఓకే.
say you wanted to update 10 rows of data. So you have to pass these values 3 and 4, right? I have hard coded here. You have to pass these values dynamically, row wise.
ఓకే. ఓకే.
So
ఓకే.
you like somewhere you will get the count. Let's say in this application itself, you have a beverages and seasonings. So in the sense here you have two rows of count, and at the
ఓకే.
same time in the product you will have 10 items, 10 product items. So that
ఓకే.
10 product items you have got 10 as a count. So based on
ఓకే.
that count, you can use it here in the Excel to update the data
ఓకే. ఓకే. సో
as a index value.
we don't know the count of that one means you can any another way is there? I mean,
No, you will get the count.
okay,
Some
okay,
other
okay.
source. Let's say
Mm,
you to start this process, you need a
mm,
input parameters, right? The same
okay.
way, to update the data into Excel, you will get the input as a count.
Okay.
And also, like if you wanted to go ahead with one Excel to another Excel, so
Mm,
the Excel A data need to be copied into Excel B. So Excel A data is the input, and Excel A count as a input you have to take and paste that into your Excel B.
okay.
So like that you will get the count, input count, and that as a index you have to use, and that index you have to maintain in the
Okay.
column and rows in the Excel.
Okay.
So that thing you will get it like however based on your requirements you will get the data and you will get uh, count also.
Okay.
So you can see the data in the blue flow. So the data has been taken, and even you can see it here in the variable we have stored it. There is a data in the variable,
Mm.
and moving further, we are trying to open the Excel sheet name, open. It is open, but we can't see that is opened in the front end. It is opened in the back end. So I will
Okay.
show you in the task manager. It's the applications. See, you can't see Excel has been opened, but it will work in the back end.
Okay.
So now it has been updated the data which we have taken, right? And it will save, close, exit. Now success, right? Now let's go and check the Excel whether it is updated or not. See, 11:29, it has been saved just now, and we'll
Yeah.
see in the sheet 3. See, it has been updated the data. So this is how like we can work with Excel, and that also like as you have asked like regarding like how we can get this rows and columns value dynamically, that will work
Mm.
on that coming.
Okay. One.
Like let's say we have training.openspan.com. So here what we'll do, we'll create one scenario, we'll take beverages and seasoning, so both, so that we'll get a two or rows of count that will take as a columns like headers, and rest like in this training environment we'll have a product details, right? In the beverages we'll have the product details, and in
Yes.
the seasoning we'll have the product details, right? So each and
Mm.
every product name will take, and we'll update that in the Excel. Beverages and seasoning will take as a headers, and
Mm.
under the beverages there will be a products, that products will add as a rows data, and a seasoning in the product will take that as a data. So the both rows and both columns will update. Will create one scenario, such type of scenario. Okay, and that is how you will get that particular count from that. So to update in the columns we have two columns. Let's say we if it is a two columns, we'll update in the A1 and B1 value. So two columns you will get two headers as a headers, and let's say for beverages you have 10 rows of data. So you will get the count, and you can update one by one here. And the same way for seasoning, you can update it here. So it is taking too much of time. So we'll create one such type of scenario, and we'll work on that.